So coming up next, generative AI has the potential to significantly impact the global economy. According to IDC estimates, worldwide Gen AI spending could generate net new revenues of up to 2 trillion by 2030, representing more than 1.5% of global GDP. China is rapidly advancing in AI technology with significant investments projected to reach 38 billion by 2027, capturing 9% of the global market. So here comes our first keynote speaker, and she's going to give us a presentation on AI Revolutions, a global journey to China's pioneering roadmap. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's welcome Ms. Kitty Fa, Managing Director of IDC China. Over to you, Kitty.
Thank you. Thank you very much, first of all, Christine, actually invite me to share what IDC view about the opportunity for AI and in specific generative AI. I actually Hong Kong and I live in China for 20 years and it is really happy to be back again. What I really want to share with you today then is what is really generative AI and AI is really affecting our life. As the MC have mentioned just now that for the whole entire AI and generative AI, it is not just about technology. It is not just about actually making our life easier, happier. But what is really is at the end, it has an economics impact. We actually create our impact model to look at how AI and generative AI are affecting the economies. In our data, what we actually see is that for AI alone, in 2030, it will generate new revenues of 12.8 trillion US dollar. How big is 12.8 million US dollar? Is it the entire United States GDP in 2023. Now, Gen AI alone, we are expecting 2 trillion US dollar by 2030. Now, how big is that? Guess a country, please. Any guess? Italy in 2030. That is the entire Italy GDP in 2023. That is the economics impact we are talking about for AI and generative AI. And this is the reason why we are looking at it, and it will actually change the way we run business. Now, deep dive into what exactly for the IT industry, how is it actually affecting the whole investment? So we also actually look at, in particular for IT spending, how because of generative AI, the change of IT spending. You can see that we are expecting over 270% 5 years CAGR growth for in specific generative AI for IT installations. Now, more importantly, this is the year in 2024, a very important year of this year to set up all the foundation. If you look at the charts over here, in 2024, with the light blue here, it is specific for enterprise infrastructure. This is the year that we are talk about Gen AI, we talk about AI in the last few years, but this is the time that company, they are really sit down and then look at what exactly is the infrastructure that we need to build in order to provide the facility, the infrastructure and the platform for us to run AI and generative AI. Now, this continues to grow to 2027, that the enterprise infrastructure still remain the majority of the investment. But looking into it, another important component is actually the services. This is really important for us to look at how exactly we can actually use generative AI in the application, but on top of it, customize for every single individual enterprise or even individual. That is actually the whole IT investment we are looking for in the next few years. Now then, like the last panel discussion, it was very interesting that when I watched the entire the panel discussion, what I see is like the two questions we actually have to survey about it is that actually in the world, most of the company, actually like 1/3 of the G2000 company, they actually think that they can double the opportunity by Gen AI. And more than 1/3 of the worldwide company across industry are thinking that because of Gen AI, their competitive position will be changed. Think about that. Today, your competition may not be within your industry. It could be any industry that will become your competitor because of all the technology, all the data that can receive and create the product. Now, that's why we need to look at how we can build our strategies for the generative AI. Now, in the last panel discussions, we can hear that there's like hundreds and hundreds of user cases which is available or already generated because of generative AI or even AI. But let's sit back and think about like what is the journey? What are the components that we really need to look at when we build our strategies for Gen AI? In my opinion, it's never too late to use the technology because there's always new technology come out. There's always a company that can give us a better, faster Gen AI application or LLM. But it is important for us to look at how we actually set up the journey. What do we need to do and the objective in each of this journey? Now, let's go back to the old school a little bit then. When we look at our business model, we always look at three things. How can we create a value, deliver the value, and also capture the value? We can actually go back and then think about all this journey, and then we set up and look at how generative and make it different. So let's start with create the value. Now, first of all, what I really like to emphasize is that in fact, one of the panelists I mentioned about is the importance of the accuracy, like how important it is, how generative AI can create the answer which is accurate. Now, in a consumer-centric world, if it's just about editing the photo, making it more beautiful, or actually doing something very simple, the requirement for accuracy or agile is actually very low. It's okay, as long as it's speedy, that's fine. But when you actually move up to the curve to the B2B business for the enterprise, we need to look at things which is getting more. We need to be accurate. And then imagine for different industry, the requirements are very different. Imagine that industry for manufacturing versus a healthcare industry. Now the degrees of accuracy are very critical in different industries. We need to keep it in mind and make sure that when we have the model, we need to build up certain level. Now let's look at the create value. I'm actually look at it in three different terms, a short term. It is all because of what data available today. So that's why how we can create value. Okay. So in the short term, what we are doing in terms of training our model or product is that, well, it's just based on whatever we have. So how the product being used, or based on the experience, we base on this data, we train up the model, we create a product, which is really what we can see today, a lot of use case. A checkbox help you to answer the questions. Okay, a car company in China, today, they actually create over 1,000 marketing content, broadcast in TikTok, in Xiaohongshu, in a lot of different channels. Every day for over 1,000. Now they're creating a lot of different use cases, which is very useful. We can't do it before, but this is a short term that we are doing it and create the value. But in the medium term, what we should start to think about is how can I collect all this individual use case into a real business flow? From the content I create in Xiaohongshu, I know what are my customers looking for, what they like to do, and how can I change my business model or actually change my product. In fact, I can reach you to actually start selling the product. Now we need to collect all this use case together to become a real business model to give us a different level of value. Now the third, which is a longer term, in fact, it's a very difficult stage at this moment, is like, and the second phase, which is within my company, I can still actually, I collect the data myself, I create what I want, but now it's like, how can I get other companies' data? How can I get other people's proprietary data that I can actually merge it together and create another level of product, another level of services, another level of customer segmentation? That is something very difficult today, and we need to be innovative and think about like how we can actually collect all the different sources of data and like they are willing to share with it. We need to start to think about a different business model. Now this is like what we see is like create the value. Then when we come to deliver the value, once we have the product, we have the user experience. Now we need to change the way we deliver it to the customer. It is not just about posting it into an online platform, in a store. We want to actually create a different experience to the customer. Think about it that, well, we have all this, a car company create all this content. Now, how can I actually make it accessible to you? And this experience is different. I can interact with your video. And in fact, I can change the video because I know your culture. There's a different culture. It's not just about language. It's about this group of people, they like this style. I can change this video to fit your style, the way that you like, the way that you feel comfortable. How can I make it available for our customers? So we need to start to think about the whole marketplace and channel that need to work together with you and deliver the experience that we are looking for. And then the third is actually to capture the value. Now this is actually something extremely interesting to me. It's like, how can I start to charge you? Because of generative AI, if I can actually collect a different data, I was actually thinking that like, well, for the car company, because they work with the electricity company, now I know which time of the electricity is cheaper. I can have a different pricing by using my car or rental a car. Or because I know I work with an insurance company, I can have a different business model. Like on top of it, think about it. I just mentioned that it's very difficult to get other company to share their core data or proprietary data. Can we work together with a different business model and we create a different package for you? We create a completely different product. This is actually the entire business model we need to think about. It is actually like what we study when we are in like school, like, okay, you know, create the value, deliver the value, and then capture the value. But now, because of Gen AI, we need to completely rethink about the whole model that we can create more or more interesting personalized information. Now, well, I only have 5 minutes left that I really want to actually share with you about China, the uniqueness of China as well. We also have run a survey about like today in worldwide as well as in China, the intention or the investment already that they plan in terms of generative AI. Just now I saw the result in Hong Kong is actually very high. Now it is more toward, it's very similar to the worldwide data. 70% in the world, they're already investing like significant amount of money for generative AI, versus China is only 2%. But if I look at the purple corners, that they are not doing anything yet, so you can see that in China is a lot lower than worldwide. I would say that it may start a little bit late, and in fact in China we are facing a lot of challenge. We can't even get GPU, like all the LLM is not even available in China, but everybody act on it already, even though they are facing all the challenge. Like, And the government, on top of it, is actually setting up a lot of the infrastructure. This is something that, like, my last 20 years in China, always I feel that this is amazing. When a government put technology as their infrastructure project, in China, they are not talking about building an airport or a highway. They are thinking how to build a big data center, an intelligence center, that as a foundation to help all the enterprise to build the AI technology. This is the foundation they have built up. And in fact, you can look at the whole IT market in China, how they grow, how fast they are growing in the next few years. And as I mentioned, that we are facing a lot of challenge in China. Most of the globally available LLM is not available in China. This is basically in China at the moment, well, maybe forever. And because of that, we create that. There's a lot of local company building their LLM as well. And I put it into two different categories over here. This one is actually more like generic for everybody can use it. Based on that, they can have open source. Some of them is actually proprietary, and you can build the LLM. These four actually have a specific focus, and they are actually known for something that's special. iFlyTech Kodai Xinfei is very famous in terms of translation technology. Baichun is actually very famous for search engines. Qipu is from Tsinghua University. They're actually very famous on mathematics, formulations, and also Moonshot. They actually is very good in terms of text summarization. So they actually have a specific focus for themselves. And with this challenge, I think that actually brings to what is the role in Hong Kong. In my opinion, I always think that as long as we always need to have a slide to have rest of the world and China, there's always opportunity in Hong Kong. It is the hub for us to bridge the two together, and it is always the hubs for us to help the company in China to get access outside of China, and also of the opportunity for global company to actually enter the China market. Now, this is my last slide, and the reason why I put it in is Google, Tencent, and AWS. It actually represent three classic models of today. Google, not available in China at all. But because they're only helping Chinese company to go overseas, that's enough to make China the largest market in Asia-Pacific for Google. AWS is actually a joint venture. They actually designed that they have their joint venture with a government. They have their own facility so that all the customer actually around the globe can also access their facility in China. Tencent, on the other hand, is actually a Chinese company that's very focused on China, and they are also expanding themselves overseas. This is the classic model that you can see in China today. And what I really think is that Hong Kong as a hub today, you see these three companies continues to have a lot of conference to attract different type of customer around the globe in China, in here, and Hong Kong, because they need this bridge. They need the channel to help both international company and also the Chinese company. I am right on the time for the summary for you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time for the summary because I actually mentioned it, I think, easy enough that when you think about the generative AI business model, think about that, create the value. It could be three different phases, actually from the data you have right now to think about connecting all the data within the company and start to think about multiple company data, how you can use it. When you actually think about your channel and also your marketplace, this is what you actually bring in the culture, tailor it for your customer individually, and then last but not least, actually think about a completely different business model, make it flexible, for your customer so that they can really enjoy the product you have curated and tailored it for them. With that, good luck and thank you very much. And I have my email over here. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Please remain on stage. Please remain on stage. And now I would like to invite Ms. Christine Lee. Please come up on stage to present the certificates of appreciations to Ms. Kitty Falk. So thank you so much, Kitty, for giving us so much insight on both worldwide and China's Gen AI market size, opportunities, and key business model components. All right, so please stand a little bit to the right. All right, so please look at our official photographer in the center. All right, once again, thank you so much, Kitty, and also thank you, Christine. Please kindly be seated off stage.